Metalheads! Welcome to another episode of Metal Verbalizers podcast. Today I will bring you a band that has made their own spin on the modernized arena rock. This is the type of music that makes you turn up the volume to max. This is Crashing Atlas. Crashing Atlas was formed in 2017 in Maryland, USA. The name comes from their interest and love for Greek mythology. Atlas is the god in the Greek mythology that is meant to hold the world. With that in mind, the band asked themselves, what if you dropped it? With that question in mind, the name Crashing Atlas was born. The influences are not too surprising if you have heard their songs and music. The band and sound is very influenced by bands like Linkin Park, Evanescence, Bring Me the Horizon, and They're Pretty Reckless. So if you like any of those bands, then you have a lot to enjoy in Crashing Atlas. Two names that also was mentioned with this was Paramore and Demi Lovato. Maybe more Paramore in my opinion, because Crashing Atlas has a similar pop punk rocky vibe in a lot of their music. And Demi Lovato might seem out of place here since she is more of a pop artist, in my opinion at least. But she also had a punk rock area about like 2-3 years ago. I'm a little unsure about that, but something like that. During this time, she even had actually Nita Strauss as one of her guitarists. Nita Strauss might be a little bit more famous for being the kick-ass guitarist behind Alice Cooper. And one other similarity to Demi Lovato, Paramore, Evanescence, and The Pretty Reckless is that Crashing Atlas is also a female-fronted band, which I think is awesome. I thought I should mention something about their album covers as well. Some of them are band photos, and some of them are not. Their debut album, or debut EP, is one of the more abstract ones, which makes it a little hard to describe. But then we have one of my favorites. This one is from their album, Black Sky Sunrise. In the background, we have what appears like an abandoned city with big empty skyscrapers and that stuff. And in the foreground, we have a wasteland with withered bushes and wolves that has claimed the top of a small hill. I think that this one is absolutely beautiful. Another one that I like is from their latest release. This one is more towards the abstract side again, but it pictures the night sky, specifically the moon. Something that I like with this one is that you can see the outline of the full moon, but you can only see a slither of it shining. Framing everything, we have gold details that really fits the theme. Now we have talked about the band itself, and that makes it a perfect time to talk about their actual music that has been released by the band. We're going to start off with their debut release. This is an EP with 5 songs released in 2017. This one is called Ascend. We're starting off at a very high level with tracks like I Know You Hear Me, Too Much, and Hell and Back. Next we have a single called East Side. This one was released in 2018 and is a powerhouse of a song. Something that I really like with this song is that how they work with both clean and heavily distorted guitars to create a dynamic and fantastic song. Songs that don't have to be distorted guitars and blasting drums through and through to become heavy, in my opinion. 2019 we got another single released. This one is called The Kill. It is actually also a cover of a song from a band called 30 Seconds to Mars. You might recognize them. What I love with this version of the song is that it is very, very stripped back in this version. This makes the song to have an impact in a totally different way than the original, which is something that I absolutely love. We are going to continue with the singles that are covers, and this time in 2020 we got the song More Than a Feeling. and you might recognize this song as well. The original of this song was released in 1976 by a group called Boston. Once again, Crashing Atlas are absolute pros when it comes to balancing clean with heavy distortion. This is a song that I really like, and I think that this is a great cover of this song. Once again, we have a cover that the band has done great. This one is called Good For You. And the original was made by Olivia Rodrigo and was released the same year in 2021. The original version is also a bit pop punk, pop rocky, but the version by Crashing Atlas, I would say, is way less pop and a lot more hard rock. So we got a lot more heavy guitars and drums and etc. This definitely makes a quite heavy song, but like I often say, a good song can be brought into pretty much any genre and it will sound great. Now we are going to leave the covers behind us because in 2021 we did get the band's first ever full-length album. Here we don't use the word heavy sparingly. This one is called Black Sky Sunrise. This album has absolute bangers like Kerosene, Monster, and The Graveyard. Once again in 2021, we're not done there. They released another cover as a single actually. This time it was This Is Halloween, originally released by Marilyn Manson and was featured in the movie The Night Before Christmas. Hearing the song in this version is awesome. They really have put their own spin on it with more guitars and drums and made it more punk rock. Pretty much Paramore-ified this song, if you know what I mean. Time for another EP. The year is 2023 and they released Call Me Hysteria. 3 of the 4 songs was released as singles before they later came together with the title track and formed this powerhouse of an EP. The singles in question was Capacities, A Violent Affair, and Fake It With Me. Now we have gone through all the current music that the band has released. That makes it a perfect time for my own little segment that I like to call Erik's Top 5. This is to give you an idea of where you might want to start when listening to Crashing Atlas. So let's go. Number 1, East Side, which was a single. Number 2, Monster, which was released on Black Sky Sunrise. Number 3, The Only Ones, which was also released on Black Sky Sunrise. Number 4, A Violent Affair from Call Me Hysteria. Number 5, Fake It With Me from Call Me Hysteria. This was my top 5 list. I could have made it a top 20 list easy. With that said, now I want to know what you think. Do you agree with my list, or do you have other songs that you think that should have been on the list? Join us on our social medias and tell us about your own top 5 list. So what can we expect in the future for Crashing Atlas? Very exciting news is that the band is currently in the studio and has finished recording 6 songs. Maybe even more at this point, because it has been a few weeks since I had contact with the band. This will later turn into an album with a planned release this year in 2024. If it will arrive this year, we can probably expect it in the later part of the year due to that it is quite a lot of work with creating an album. But that is just speculations from me, and we don't really have an exact release date for this album. I think that we absolutely will see good success from this band. This kind of music has had great success from bands like Paramore, The Pretty Reckless, Bring Me the Horizon, and many more. So I don't see how Crashing Atlas could not have it the same. I think that they have done a fantastic job with their music so far. If you think that you might like Crashing Atlas, don't hesitate to go and have a listen to their music. If it doesn't exactly sound like the music that you usually listen to, go and have a listen anyway. You might find something new. That has happened a lot for me with this podcast. If you do like this band, don't forget to go and give them a follow on their social media. This way you can support the band and help them to reach out to new ears. And it's also gonna help you stay updated on what's next for the band. And hey, it's free. If you like what we are doing here on Metal Verbalizers podcast, bringing you new fantastic bands to listen to, don't forget to follow us on our social medias as well. Over there, you will get updates on what bands we are gonna verbalize next. Sometimes we also talk to the bands and have them tell us stories from their tours. In our concept, Tour Stories. You can also be the one to help us find the next band to be verbalized. We always take suggestions in consideration when we choose bands. Thank you for listening. You've been listening to Metal Verbalizers podcast, Verbalizing Crashing Atlas.